This is going to be casual, but what I am going to do is take you through the steps that we have. And it's not necessarily our steps, but we've identified a nice sequence to make it easier for the applicants. My name is Jeff Sherrill. I'm Senior Program Manager in Leading and Learning at NASSP. So the NCOE award is an award that we came up with in 2005, 2006, and as a way to recognize student councils that are meeting certain criteria and just doing student council right, if you will. And one of the interesting things about it is the criteria for the award is based on National Student Council standards, the 4 tenets, and it gives student councils a kind of a guide or a pathway to really do more with your leadership and to leverage your leadership on a broader scale than what you may have been doing. Many student councils will have kind of a narrow pathway. Oh, we're doing this event traditionally every year and we're not doing much others. And the criteria pushes your council to look at other ways that you can serve in your schools and communities and provide leadership and to carry student voice and to get your student body engaged in your activities and your events and projects. One of the things that you'll find as you go through the criteria and work on the award is that your council members will start discovering weaknesses and strengths. Wow, we've been doing a lot with service, but we haven't really been doing much with student voice and getting the opinions and reaching out to our fringe students and making sure all of our students on campus feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and their ideas. So it's a good way to kind of reflect on your council itself, and hope you will do that. So how do you go from student council to National Council of Excellence? It happens in 3 steps. So the first thing you do in starting your journey towards Council of Excellence is to download the criteria. There's the checklist in the guide of all the criteria. So how do you use that checklist? The checklist will help you, number one, of course, what are you meeting? What are you already doing in your councils that meet the criteria and you can check off on? And then you start looking for evidence that you've met that criteria. Is it a letter that we've written to somebody? Is it photos from a project that we've done? Whatever that it might be, a sample of our Constitution, a sample of our minutes, or an agenda, whatever it might be, you just look at that and match it up with the checklist. Next, that checklist helps you build a portfolio. What's in your portfolio? Well, that's all the evidence of the criteria that you've met. So if it says one of the criteria is that you have some type of governing document, whether it's bylaws, constitution, whatever. Okay, so we check that off and that goes into our portfolio. The portfolio itself can be hard copy or it might be electronic. It's up to you. One of the things I would do too, just as a tip then, as a follow-up tip, is when you complete your portfolio, include your checklist as part of your portfolio. It can be the table, it becomes the table of contents that your principal looks at, and it's also showing exactly what's going to be in the portfolio for your principal. All right, ready to go to number 2. So you got the criteria downloaded, you've gone through, you've checked off the boxes, you've built your portfolio, you've got everything in it, you've reviewed everything, and you're ready to take it to your principal. So you're going to meet with your principal. The purpose of that meeting is to present your portfolio, to take questions from the principal, and to give the principal a chance to verify that your council has met the criteria to be recognized, whether it be the base level of Council of Excellence or the National Gold Council of Excellence. The final step, and these are screenshots from the new web page, you hit apply now, and that will open up the electronic portal. At the portal, you'll see the National Council of Excellence Award application at the top, and then you're going to have a sign in, and it'll say log in with your NASSP account. So let's talk about just for a moment the electronic application, the online application. Advisors, if you're going to fill out the application, you're going to log in with your National Student Council advisor credentials. For any of the students that are going to be working on it, if a student is going to be filling out the application online, then that student needs to have a verified student account. And on that page for the application, or you can go to just on the homepage of National Student Council, you'll see create an account, and that's where the students can go to create their account. If you haven't done that, students, I would do it anyway, whether you're involved with this or not, because it gets you access to the National Student Council or the National Project Database, and it gets you connected with some of the webinars or all the webinars that are going on for students. So something to think about. But anyway, so you log in. If your council membership is active, you've renewed or joined prior to the award, and students are verified, then you should be able to log in with no problem. It's connected. The online application is connected to our membership system. So it will pre-fill a number of the fields for you on the initial profile. Then at the bottom, you just kind of scroll through that and look at the bottom, it'll say continue. And then you go to the next page, and that's where you'll begin your application. You'll see a big square button that says get started. The application itself is pretty much just replicating the checklist. Now you're going down through and just hitting the check boxes that match up with your checklist that you did for your principal. So all the criteria that's on your checklist, just click the same ones on the application. That's exactly the same till you get to projects. Now, projects are a little bit different this year than they have been in the past. The first big difference is you only need to submit 2 projects for Council of Excellence or 3 projects for National Gold Council of Excellence. The other difference is the projects are going to be entered directly into the online application. You no longer have to go to the database and then wait for the project to be read and moderated and wait for emails to come back. It's right there. So, and when you do the project entry, it's going to ask for just a couple of pieces of information about the project, not nearly as much as what was in the database, but it's also going to have 3 questions with each project entered. Basically, the kind of questions like, what was a highlight of this project? Why did you do this? Why did your council elect to do this project or choose to do this project? Just to get some information and about the experience with that project. And it'll be the same questions for each of the 3 projects. There's also, when you get down below that, there's a, of course, for the if the advisor fills out the application, then the advisor has a couple of questions to respond to, and the principal has some questions to respond to. The way that's set up is you'll have an opportunity to actually send an invite to the advisor or the principal to complete a couple of questions, reflective questions about the council, their input on that. And then they just, once they fill the form out, they just hit click submit, and it comes back and you're notified that they've submitted. Once all of that's done, you simply go over everything, make sure you've got it the way you want it, and hit submit. Until you hit submit, you can go back into any section of the application and edit, change, update. It doesn't matter. Once you submit, then it's closed. But if you go, oh my gosh, we're looking at this, we didn't put this in. If that's the case, send me an email and say, we need to add something, we forgot. And I can open the application back up and you can log back in and make that change. Folks, this is an award and a recognition that we're sponsoring because we want to put your councils up on a pedestal that they've earned. We want to recognize you. At the same time, we want you to definitely go in though and do your best to get it right the first time. And that's a learning curve and a learning experience for leaders. Now, something else about the online application I don't want to fail to mention, and that's this. Only one person can log in. So whoever logs in first to start the council profile, that needs to be your application, and that needs to be your application person. Please do not start more than one application. Again, it's not that much input. And one of the things I would say do, like with your projects, when you're looking at those questions for the project entries, the responses, go ahead and compose those on a Word document, or have your students compose them on a Word document. And then it's just a matter of copying and pasting them into the fields. And that way one person could, multiple people could write them and one person could do the entry then. So the award is due. The applications you can submit February 15th, 2023. And then we'll be notifying the winners in early April. And then the public announcement is during National Student Leadership Week. That's when everything will go up. But you'll receive an email, congratulatory email, official email from us. It'll have an electronic seal that you can put on your website and social media, use however you wish there to proclaim your reward. And then soon thereafter will be a certificate coming to you. And I would strongly encourage you to, for those that get the award, to make arrangements to present to your school boards. It gives them a chance to hear not only that you got national recognition, but you're able to tell them what the heck you do and how much work you put in to making your schools better, to serving in your communities, so that they understand you're not there just to plan the prom. And, definitely it's Nat Stuco at natstuco.org or Cheryl J at NASSP.org if you have any questions that come up. Let me say this before we do go. If when you're logging in, if you happen to log into the application, online application, and you go so far, it'll just go to the first page, and at the bottom of the first page, it says you're not eligible to apply. Go ahead and contact our customer care office, because there may be something it could be something with your membership. It could also be a connection with, if it's a student, it could be, is the student connected to the school? In other words, does our membership show a relationship that your student is a student at your school, or that your advisor is the advisor at your school? That could happen as well. Just sometimes we know technology hiccups. And if that happens though with the login, please contact customer care. If it's something else, if it's something with the application itself, contact me. And we'll work with our tech folks to see what we can do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight. Good luck, and I look forward to passing out some gold to your councils in the coming months, come February and March. Take care and have a good evening. Bye-bye.